Hey guys, today I am showing you the secret behind the scenes for my modern Aurora, and I'm also gonna be talking about how I found my style and some tips and tricks on what helped me the most of finding it. And I hope that this will be inspiring for you if you're also a beginner artist or if you love Disney. I am sure a big Disney Princess fan. And as you can see, I am not a master sketcher like so many artists on social media, or even, so many people are not. But there is just this image that when an artist posts something that it's hard to see the process that goes behind it and all the hours of hard work. So here you can see that my sketch is super messy and Aurora's facial features are just like so not developed yet. And throughout this process, you will also see the reference photos that I use. For example, for her face, I use lots of different references from different Disney pictures or fan art and kind of meshed it together for my own. It's really hard to get facial features accurate when you're drawing a character, and so sometimes to just check my work, I put the original image underneath, so it's like kind of like tracing in a way. But I try to make sure that I rely on my own skills and just use that as guide. So to be able to kind of see if I place the eyes too high or too low or something like that. But right now I'm drawing the hands, and as you can see, it's way too tiny. And if I was drawing this right now, a couple years later, I actually drew this in 2021. So it's been a while, but what I've been learning since then is hands are actually supposed to be almost the same size as your face. So it's definitely a little too tiny, but this artwork is still so popular. So I just have to remind myself to be kind and that it's a process and to let go of perfectionism. So you could see actually there too, I was matching up Aurora with my other modern princesses because it's a series, and to be able to draw something that fits into a collection is just important that the kind of features of the drawing are similar sizing. But anyways, here I'm even experimenting with her headband. That headband didn't end up looking like that, but it was just the starting phase, and her face also just looks so off still. Oh my god. But it's a process, guys. Just stick with the process, and it's almost more important sometimes to be able to tell if something looks good and just work on it as long as it looks good in the end. I honestly can't believe how her face looks so off. I couldn't remember. Yep, there it is. I was fixing it. I was like, okay, what do I move? I have to move something to the right, to the left. Is it smaller? Is it bigger? Trying to learn and fix my own mistakes. But honestly, since 2021, when I drew this, I actually see so much improvement on myself on being able to capture facial features correctly. It's kind of fascinating. So don't despise the process, even it's not perfect. Just be open to learn and to always to don't use these tools as tracing in Procreate or reference photos as a crutch. Just use it as learning tools. And on that note, I wanted to transition into how I have been finding my style the past couple of years. And I started digital art in the beginning of 2020, so it's been 3 years at this point, which is just amazing. And honestly, I feel like what helped me make the largest improvements was that in the beginning, I really tried focusing on learning from artists that I admired. And for example, Lila Lopez's art inspired me so much, and she still does. My heart stops every time I look at any of her artwork. And so I got her art books, and I started a little collection. I got some of her other books too that she illustrated. And I just try to, study her work, study how she uses the lines, how she simplifies things. And in the very first couple months of my journey, I actually did a challenge where I was copying, like not tracing, but just like trying to copy and mimic her artwork for like 40 days or so, one artwork every day. And that actually opened my eyes to so many things as far as, how she draws flyaway hair or how she captures texture, with line weight, and all of those things. And even though now looking back, I feel a little bad because I actually posted those works on social media, and I feel like that is maybe ethically not the best decision, because even though I credited her in the description and tagged her and all that, to not take credit for the original artwork, it was still something that came out of her imagination that I kind of drew almost identically. So it was very good learning tool, but I probably wouldn't have posted it on social media. But I'm just trying to tell you this to, so you hear my journey, and that I get to share that actually that exercise helped me so much to get a head start on where I want to be. And then even after that, I was part of the Patreon community of Dolly Sketch, and she was amazing. She actually she had like below 10,000 followers when I first found her and joined her Patreon, and she grew over 100,000 now. She is so great. I will tag her in the description so you guys can find her. And she had so many amazing tutorials on her Patreon that helped me learn, along with MediArts. So MediArts is also amazing. She's the sweetest person ever, and she is doing a really great job with shape language. And so that is kind of what I was trying to find when I was looking for people I want to learn from. I tried finding someone I really admired how they do line art and sketches, and that was Laya, I hope I said that right. And then I found someone who has amazing shape language, which was MediArts. And then I was trying to look for some people that inspired me as far as how they use colors. So one of my favorites is actually Toshiya-san. So she is just amazing. The way she paints and uses light is just so great. So basically, I actually was part of her Patreon too for a little while. So what I would do is I would take a little bit of each of these artists by just studying and trying to imitate them, and then that kind of ended up adding up a tiny bit here and there to my style. And while there is no perfect recipe for finding your style, I'm just trying to share my experience to maybe inspire you or give you some insights, because I know it felt like a complete mystery, and honestly I just thought that it's an impossible task for a complete beginner like me to find some distinctive styles. So I would just say to be patient and keep your passion, keep your excitement, and do that with looking up to artists who inspire you. And do studies, but do studies of things that you actually enjoy. You hear sometimes like, oh, have to study landscapes and this and that. Just do what you enjoy when you're a beginner, and that will keep that spark going. And sooner or later, you will see that you've come so far. So I just want to encourage you, because I've totally been there. And this is actually my line art for Aurora that was finished. If you've been watching the process, you've seen it's been a struggle, but she's getting there. And in the next video, I will show you guys how I do coloring for textures of her clothes. You will see the references that I used for her shirt, and how I color her hair. So I'm going to share some insights on specifically the hair coloring and the shirt texture, because those were just such major discoveries for me when I was part of this process. And also, I will keep sharing some insights on specific exercises that you can also follow. That was the most helpful for me, that I learned from these other artists I look up to when it was about finding my style. If you loved what I shared, and if you want to support my little channel, I would appreciate a like so much. And make sure to message me on Instagram so we can chat about any questions you might have. Love you guys.